Hey everyone, welcome to the Broken Together podcast. My name is Josh.
My name is Melody, and this is our first episode. We just really wanted to first introduce ourselves. We are definitely gonna be the background for the rest of the podcast's lifespan, but we did want to talk about first just our testimonies, where we come from, and our ministry that we've been working on. So yeah, Josh is gonna go first.
Yeah, right. So, we didn't want to just be two random characters in a
Mhm.
podcast that like say some cool things here and there.
Yeah, for sure.
So we just wanted to take a minute and kind of lay out our testimonies for for all the listeners and kind of see where we're coming from when we're giving our advice to the youth
Mhm.
that will eventually be on the show.
Yeah.
But for me, I not I always say I have a rough background, but I kind of made it rough for myself. So I was born to a mom and dad who were way too young and way too immature
Yeah.
to be parents, and so my grandparents graciously took me in
Mhm.
and raised me.
Y
They
yeah,
they
for
they took
sure.
that responsibility on themselves. They raised me, and as I was getting older, I was kind of starting to realize, okay, like I was adopted. I was kind of like, my parents weren't that great. It made me very angry.
Yeah.
And so throughout um, middle school and even into high school, I was a very angry kid and didn't want anything to do with teachers, adults in general, authority. Not my thing.
Yeah.
My grandpa was an elder at the Methodist church that he attended. His father was a pastor
Right.
and also like a school principal because it was like a small town, so a lot of people wore multiple hats back then.
Mhm.
And then my grandma, old school Catholic, when my great grandma was still alive, she was old school Catholic. So I had this weird upbringing in church, and so like my idea of church was the old guys that talk about the dead old guy,
Right.
which is not where I'm at anymore, as I am employed
Thank
as
God.
I am employed as the youth pastor at Calvary Chapel, El Paso, and it's been an amazing couple of years that we've now been kind of running it
Yeah, for sure.
on our own and all that. But as I got older, got saved at 13 and
Mhm.
still kind of lived my own life. Like I said, where I created my own rough background, right, is just
Yeah.
going through middle school and high school, getting into drugs and drinking and doing all these things. 'Cause I was still angry. Like I had Christ with me, but I didn't really lean on it.
Yeah.
I just I took him with me. I went to church throughout the week because that's where the cute girls were, you know, and that's
Yes.
that's where I wanted to be where the cute girls were.
Right.
So it was just this perfect like mixture. And so I went through, and then finally, after getting out of a bad relationship, I was done. I was done living that life. I was washed out on the drugs and the drinking and the girls, and
Yeah.
I wanted to I wanted to clean up. I wanted to be better, and I I took a few months, and I'm just like I'm dedicating this all to Christ. I'm done. I'm washed out.
Yeah.
I was literally washed out. We were partying every weekend. I was going around, and I got to the end of the road.
Yeah, for sure.
And so throughout all this time, my wonderful wife to be Melody was
Yeah. I was
watching me be a fool.
I was definitely an observer, not a partaker in any of that. Yeah, so I have not a completely different, but my parents got saved when I was like 7 or 8. And I definitely knew that there was a God because my parents, they completely did a 180 when they got saved. I went from like late nights to going to church Sundays and Wednesdays and hosting Bible studies at our house. And so I definitely believed, I definitely did the whole children's church thing. But when I was 12 years old is when I started going to youth group. And that was a momentous occasion. I know it was like a super awkward like pizza party. Um and Greg, our youth pastor, he made us feel so invited, but I was so excited. I was so wanting to be one of the cool kids. And yeah, at 12, I started going to youth group. And then that's when, um, that's where my struggles started because so during middle school, I was bullied a lot. And so that didn't help with my mental situations got going on out there. And then I thought, you know what, in high school it'll be different. And it was different in the fact that I wasn't bullied as much, but it definitely I did an early college program. I want to say it, my high school had been open for 6 years when I started. And so we were one of the first early college programs in El Paso. And so there was definitely a lot of struggle.
Yeah.
There was definitely a lot of things I wasn't prepared for, but I had to live up to this expectation of being a teenager and an adult, and then still trying to figure out who I am. And so that definitely led to depression. That definitely led to a lot of anxiety, just because you have to really balance all those things, right? You have to balance college homework, high school homework, um, have to balance trying to fit in as a high schooler and then trying to do all the social stuff as well.
Mhm.
And so all that just kind of uh became a little overwhelming. And so I struggled a lot during high school and um Wednesday nights for with our youth group were really just times of peace, and I knew I that was my safe space and I can come and just be refreshed by the Lord. We would worship our hearts out. We would we would hear the message from Greg, and I would just be full again just to tackle another the rest of the week with whatever came my way. And so that's really how I survived high school. And yeah, and that senior year is when Josh and I got together finally. I was gonna say that his bad relationship, you ended it around junior year,
Yeah, it would have
senior
been like the
year.
end of my junior year.
Yeah. And so we finally decided to try it out, make it work. And so our senior year, we got together. And then I don't know if you want to.
I mean, not that I was stung with rejection after I tried to.
Oh my gosh. I didn't think you were going to bring that up.
I wasn't, but
Yeah, it's
I
true.
need the people to know that I tried,
Yeah, you did. So,
but you knew too much of my stuff.
yeah, for sure. So I want to say it was eighth grade, the summer of eighth grade year. Someone was texting me a little too often and a little out of nowhere, and
I think it was just the right amount of time.
it was Josh, and um, not that a red flag came up, but I definitely was like, "This is different," because he never texted me before, and never carried a conversation with me
I
before.
was just a social guy. I don't know what you're
For
talking about.
sure, yeah, yeah. And so then, um, I he finally popped the question. It was like, "Hey, you wanna get together? You wanna do this thing?" And I was like, "Yeah, no, I respect our friendship way too much."
Mm.
And I
This the pangs of rejection
yeah, for sure.
coursing through my body
Yeah, for sure. He felt very heartbroken after that.
sent me down a hard path.
Yes, for sure. It's all my fault. Um, and you know what's horrible is that I'm the one that remembered that. Josh had no recollection of that.
Oh no, I definitely remembered it.
No, you're such a no, that's not. But anyway, we got together our senior year and we have never been apart ever since. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to leave it like that. But we grew up doing we finished off the youth group, we graduated, and then we came here to Calvary Chapel, and
Yeah,
that's kind of where our ministry started. We volunteered for VBS, which is one of our favorite ministries.
just decided
Um,
to take on the director position year
yeah,
one. We just figured like
just kind of out of nowhere.
we've done all the different
Um,
VBS positions. I think we could direct a one.
yeah, for sure. And that's one of the Ebenezer's of my life is where a no got turned into a yes and maybe like a week. And it's all God, like for sure. God definitely moved, and so we're VBS directors for a long time.
And then on top
Um
of that, we decided, hey, you know what? It'd be cool if we were youth leaders.
yeah, we volunteered for our youth group here at Calvary Chapel. What else have we done? that's pretty much it.
I mean, that's the main ones.
Yeah, those are the 2 main ones, but, so we've been in ministry for a long time now, and so we, are very blessed. Well, we did the college too. We
Yeah.
did the college ministry as well, but we've been very blessed through those years and through that time. So, yeah, I think that's it. I think that's all.
So yeah, now we're at this point where we want to
Yeah.
take what God has given us and pour out into this next generation, these kids that are
Yeah.
coming up through middle school and high school right now,
Mhm.
because they're going through struggles that are, I don't know if I want to say harder, but I
They're
want to say
different.
that they are different and they are real to them. They are these problems that like they're not knowing what to do with. They don't know where to go with it,
Yeah.
and we want to be able to point them in the right direction so that partially they don't end up like me. I think that's one of my big motivators is that I don't want these kids to end up like I was. I want them to have a real genuine faith.
Yeah.
And I think to do that, we have to fellowship with them. We have to spend as much time with them as we can. We have to
Yeah.
give them the word.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
Yeah, I definitely don't want them to deal with what I dealt with for sure.
yeah.
And so, but anyway, we have a verse for today. It comes out of Matthew chapter 9, verse 37, and it says, Then he said to the disciples, The harvest is truly plentiful, but the laborers are few. Therefore, pray to the Lord of the harvest to send out laborers to his heart into his harvest.
And I think that was our calling verse. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
that is the verse that was like, yeah, we have to go.
Yeah, for
We
sure.
have to reach them. And God has moved for us like that. It's never like in these like very steady steps either. When God moves for us, it's like
Huge steps.
it's yeah, it's just like leaps and bounds,
Mhm.
and we just get whisked away like going the leaps and bounds. We're like, okay, God, this is if this is what it is, this is what it is, and we're gonna go. We're gonna follow the call.
Yeah. And so, not to say that's our life, but that's where we're at right now. We're really excited for this podcast and what the Lord has for us in store for us today, uh, and for the future. So, thank you guys.
Yeah, please join us every second and fourth Monday of the month. We're gonna be posting new episodes. We
Mm,
will be again featuring a youth on the episode. They're gonna talk,
yeah.
and we're gonna give them their platform to.
Yeah, our next one's gonna be interesting because he's our first.
Our first one's gonna be a good one.
I hope so. I'm really excited. So, but we'll see you guys.
Thank you very much. We'll see you next time.